Neighbors here at Jones Chevrolet, and this is an Envision. We have a show today that will bring you an update on neighborhood housing services, how they may help you or your neighbors. Oh, I just love the smell of these new vehicles. 2023 Silverado in Roadrunner Blue. And now we'll hear about the latest from Neighborhood Housing Services. Well, we're at the Park Apartments, and we're going to learn a lot about news from Neighborhood Housing Services of Southwest Wisconsin. We have 3 new people to talk to and some new programs to learn about. Okay, well, I guess we'll start with Kathy Linz, the Executive Director of Neighborhood Housing Services of Southwest Wisconsin. Kathy, can you tell us, first of all, what your position includes, and then how you came to be here?
Certainly. Well, starting tomorrow, I'll have been here 1 year, so it's that anniversary time. But I am here specifically to work with really helping the organization grow, be listening to the community. So I've actually been doing a lot of interviews with folks, find a little bit more about what they need for housing. It's been interesting to me to have a chance to speak for the Economic Development Board. Got to hear from all of the employers across all of our industries who all said, we need housing, our workers need housing. This is a really big issue. So really trying to take that time to listen and then think about how can we actually engage funders, be it the state government, the federal government, foundations, to really bring the resources together so that we can actually do something about it. It's nice to gather information and talk with people, but they actually want their lives to be better, different. And that's what we're working on right now. So I really come from it from bringing on the staff, and I've had 2 new staff members with me who happen to have just started in the last few weeks to, again, fill critical positions as we really try to listen to what it is the community needs. Now, for me, it's kind of interesting because I grew up in Spring Green. We came to Richland Center when I was a kid all of the time. So this was like the old stomping grounds. But I have spent the last not so many years that we won't go into those numbers. You know how that goes. But I've spent a lot of time actually either working for nonprofits, working for the state, and ultimately consulting for federal contracts all over the country. So I've traveled all over working with big projects, and people have laughed and said, and you've come back home to bring what you've known, bring all that experience back to the local area to say, how can we use that to help? So that's literally how we've come roundabout to be back in this particular area.
So the main thing that Neighborhood Housing Services does for people is housing.
That's our focus. And it's going to be a mixture of things. In a little bit, Andrea's going to talk about the Park Hotel. People here knowing this as a major landmark, it's also housing for seniors. Back in 1983, when Neighborhood Housing Services started, this was their very first project. So, and we continue to see a real need for how can we make sure that our seniors in our area have housing. Another area that we work on is in the greater community, because we have people who, I don't know if you've noticed, but in the last few years, we've had a mad rush on people wanting to buy homes. And not everybody can afford everything that needs to go with that. So we've been there to help them think through the process, work with the mortgage lenders to say, here's what people need to know educationally to be ready for that purchase so that it's a good experience. And in some cases, we help with the down payment assistance. For folks who need that, that's a 0% deferred loan, which is a huge help when you're financially struggling, when you're looking for how can I do this in a way to get no disrespect to rentals, but to be able to become a homeowner. So we help not only with the assistance, but also the education and the counseling components of it.
So you would help people maybe find a mortgage or understand how to go about finding a mortgage. You also may help them with rehabbing, repairs.
That's the other part of it, because the truth of the matter is, when they look at the housing stock in this particular area, a lot of our homes are older. Some of them aren't in great shape. I mentioned earlier about seniors. Sometimes they haven't been able to keep up with the care that's really needed, and they know that they need to sell their home. So in some cases, we can help them rehab it so that, in fact, it's better for them if they want to stay in their homes. Or in some cases, people want to purchase a home. They're like, can we get some assistance to really upgrade this, to improve it so it's in a better condition when we make that purchase? That's all part of what we are able to do and assist with.
Well, that's a lot, and those are all important things. Another thing sometimes that happens, and I mean with COVID and all the situations we've had, is people may face foreclosure.
Absolutely, and we've gotten a lot of those calls, and we've been able to work and help them connect to the state agencies who actually help provide some assistance in that area. But we're going to be here to help hold people's hands, talk through what do we need for documents, what do you need to pull together, how do we prepare for those conversations with our lenders, with the state, with whoever it is that we need, so that in fact we can help them. And we've gotten those calls where people have called me back and just like, Kathy, we saved the house. I mean, it's so exciting. And that's really what we want to be working towards, is ways that we can do that to really help our neighbors, because that's really what Neighborhood Housing Services was based on, the idea that neighbors are helping neighbors to really build great communities.
And that's really important. So then maybe we'll take a moment and get to know Andrea Lippens. Am I saying it right?
Yes, you are.
Tell us about your position and about how you came to
Sure.
it.
Sure. I'm the Park Hotel Apartments property manager. We have 25 units here. I'm the go-to person for that. I also am the intake coordinator for all of the programs that Kathy just spoke about. I'm kind of the first step. I will get them going on the application, get all the documents that we need, kind of hold their hands, walk them through that, help them get it, talk to their lender, and then pass them on to one of our counselors. I split my time kind of 50% on each job. Right now, I'm kind of focused on the Park Hotel Apartments. It's our senior living 55 and older community. It's got some great history. It's a beautiful building, constructed in 1874. There is a lot of history that goes behind it. I was doing a little research, hosted a John F. Kennedy presidential visit back in the day. But now we have 25 units, 1 bedroom and 2 bedroom. They range in size from 400 square feet to 800 square feet. We are 3 floors. We have laundry on each floor. We have an elevator, super easy access. Heat and utilities are included. And I have 3 vacancies right now that we are trying to get filled. So if we have any interest, friends, family, anybody out there, give me a call. I'll be glad to send an application. We can meet in person. We can go through, look at the units that we have, and start with that.
And we might mention that we are actually meeting in that very building.
Yes, we are.
We're having this conversation here, and there's a lovely, community
This is the community room.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
where
Yep.
you could have family, friends. There's a little kitchen, so there's a lot of amenities besides just the apartment.
Definitely, yeah. We're trying to get, we had a meeting yesterday with most of the tenants here and trying to get some programs, activities going within the community here. We're gonna start some bingo. We're doing some different puzzles and activities like that, just to kind of get everybody out of their units and down here. So to build a real sense of community again within the building.
And I would think most local people would know, but others may not, that it's right downtown.
It is.
You
It's-
can just take a
Yeah.
short stroll to coffee or lunch.
Yeah, just about anything really, not far from a lot of places. And we have some beautiful views as well of the area. I think it's a beautiful place to be, and you can definitely enjoy that from our front porch.
Now, how did you come to this position? What is your background?
I just moved to the state in December from Northern Illinois, where I was property manager of some low-income housing, federally funded. Back in Illinois, we had 7 properties, and I decided it was time for a change. I've always wanted to be in this area, so I took the leap, applied for the position, and got it, and it's been a great transition. I think this is a great position, a great community, just a great place to be.
And weather-wise, it compares probably similarly with Illinois?
It does. In fact, back home, my children are still there, and they've gotten way more snow and worse weather than we have up here. So I'm always telling them, come to Wisconsin.
Okay, well, we'll have a few minutes to just get acquainted with Michelle Yanis.
Yes, correct.
And you are home ownership.
Community engagement is
Okay.
what my title is, correct.
Can you explain what that is and who you are and how you came to be that person?
Yeah, so I actually just started this week, so I'm fresh and new to the organization, but I'm really excited to go ahead and get started and kind of get my name out there. But what I do here is I am actually a housing counselor, so my primary focus is going to be people of color, specifically Spanish speaking, looking to go ahead and give them access to housing and be able to assist them and really get to know, the down payment assistance programs, if they're having some issues with credit, getting them to a better spot, helping them out with saving. And I'll also be doing their workshops and doing any education, especially within our community, hoping to get out even in a broader area than just Richland Center and be able to, really assist everybody and be able to give them the knowledge to be able to be in a good spot for housing.
Okay, and how did you come to the position? Where did what background do you have?
Yeah, so actually I've been a stay-at-home mom for about a year and a half. I just have a little new baby. She just turned 1 last month, so but previously I have been a housing counselor for over 2 years with a background in finance and banking. So I'm very knowledgeable and I'm really excited to bring my knowledge to this community.
Okay, excellent. So do you serve people just in Richland Center, just in Richland County? or
We're
you-
actually called to serve a 12-county area for all of southwest Wisconsin.
Okay.
And one of the things that's wonderful about the addition that we have is that it's the opportunity to work in multiple languages.
Yes.
Because we certainly get those requests. That's actually one of the things that the mortgage lenders in this immediate area talked about, is that as far as they knew, there was only one person in the banks or credit unions who actually spoke Spanish. And so we looked at that and said, okay, here's another need. People need to have housing. We have a growing community of folks coming in.
So what are you enjoying the most? I'll ask each of you that question with your position. What have you found most satisfying? In your case, you may have to be a little imaginative since you've only been here a few days, but
Honestly, because I've gotten to work with some of the families as they come in for the Park Hotel, it's the people who have come in and said, well, my grandmother lived here and now my parents lived here, and they're just so appreciative of the community that's here, that's given them a safe place to be, at that point in their life. They couldn't keep the house anymore, they couldn't continue in that way, and they're like, I need to do something different, but I don't need all of the other assistance just yet. So, and seeing that kind of community come together, like at Christmas time, they were like, can we put a tree up? Can we? Well, you know what? We made arrangements for that. And community leaders here in the building actually were decorating, putting everything together. And family members stopped by and they're like, do you need a tree skirt for that? Do you need? And I'm like, that would be fabulous. We would love that. But just seeing people really coming together. I think the other biggie for me was we, despite our best efforts in our programs, we had somebody who just didn't meet the qualifications, but they needed some new equipment in their house. And we were like, okay, we've got to do something. How can we? They needed a water heater. I mean, that was the truth of the matter. And we were able to contact people locally who said, you know what? You get this, you get that. Donations came in, and the next thing you know, we're able to go over and help them get that in.
so basically you solve problems.
I mean, the community came together for that, and it's just the chance to be a part of that whole process, and then to get a card just saying, I can't thank you enough. Thank you for what you did. And that's huge.
It is.
Because it makes a difference in each of those people's lives.
And how about you?
Yeah, about the same. I'm really enjoying getting to meet the residents here. I'm enjoying just being in this community of Richland Center, walking around, getting to see all of the little local businesses and how much it has to offer. A little bit of a nice slower pace. We can walk downtown and have coffee or have lunch. I really am enjoying that. I'm a very outdoorsy person, so this is a great place to be. And I truly believe that a lot of my residents feel the same way. They like to go for a walk. When I'm going to go to lunch with one of them next week, we're going to walk downtown to one of the local cafes. And that's my goal, is to get them out, get them engaged, and enjoying where we're at. On the other hand, with my other intake, working with Michelle and getting to learn a lot from her, and having the applicants and having them be excited that they're going to be a first-time home buyer, or they're going to be able to put the new roof on their home, is a lot of satisfaction as well.
And I should just mention, out of fairness, that Michelle is one of our counselors. We actually have 3 others as well.
Okay. Yeah. And the other 2, what is their focus?
Johnny oversees the overall homeownership center, and Tamika, well, they all work in the area of the homeowner education, foreclosure prevention, any of those kind of things that we can do. All of them actually are working in those particular areas. Hassan is going to be also working a lot with any of the homes that we purchase and then rehab, and any or new construction. And we're actually working on some leads to look at doing some new construction projects as well.
Okay. And how about you? What do you find the most satisfying about your work?
Yeah, so like I mentioned previously, I do have some experience from years back, within the same nonprofit organization. So one of the things that I did find, very rewarding, like Kathy and Andrea mentioned, is just being able to help out your community and getting those thanks and appreciations, being able to have those first-time home buyers actually be so excited, being able to attend their closings and see them then sign away all their documents and then get the keys at the end. Those are, very rewarding moments, and I hope to bring that here too.
Okay. And of course, along with the joys, there are always some challenges. Mm-hmm. And I think you alluded to one of the main ones here, which is a limited inventory of housing. Is that your biggest challenge? Are there others?
The finding the places that we could build, that's one of the biggies. We've been actually working quite closely with the city and the county to take a look and say, what kind of things do we want to target? We're actually going to be also working on a project called Community Impact Measures, where this summer, and we're looking for volunteers, so if people want to join us, we actually want to be able to go out into this area, go neighborhood by neighborhood to say, how are our neighborhoods doing? Do they have the resources that they need? How are our structures? What is the current condition, so that we can create a plan with the city and the county to say, what's our target of how we want to try to make some improvements along the way? So if people are listening and thinking, hey, you know what, if you're in our particular neighborhood, we'd like to talk with you more, we'd like to participate in that, would love that. But that's our opportunity to say, then how can we bring resources to that to help us improve our area?
And challenges for you?
So far, I haven't had a lot of challenges. I'm just very positive and very excited about everything that Kathy is bringing. I can't stress enough how exciting it is to be a part of it all. I'm very grateful to be here, and she has so many great plans that I know she's going to put into motion. So I'm just super excited about that. Yeah, a lot of positive that she's bringing for sure.
And your big challenge probably is getting established here.
Yes.
Since is it like your 3rd or 4th day on?
It is my 3rd day today.
Okay. But if you have other thoughts on challenges, please share.
So like Kathy has kind of touched a little bit about housing, some of the challenges that we will see and hopefully help some of our clients move forward is, going to be credit, something that we can assist here, having funds to be able to close for their house, something we can assist here. And if we can't do it within a year, we're here to help our clients get to that, even if it's a long-term goal. So we're here, to educate them, to really show them what is needed, provide them with a different resources, if it's banking, lenders, the education piece, just really getting them there. And, it might be a challenge at the beginning, but later on, as we're working towards those challenges, hopefully, it won't be a challenge to them anymore, and they'll have those keys to their home.
I'd like to ask a little bit more about what is, for first-time home buyers, they may not, it isn't like when you go grocery shopping, you don't pick something off the shelf and pay for it and you're done. What kind of timeline can it be? Is it months, years?
It also is a case-by-case basis. That's why we like to have our clients, start up with Andrea and do the full intake process. We are going to be requiring the same documents that you look at your lender, so we're going to be doing the full process just like you would with a lender. When we sit down, we're going to have those kind of conversations. We're going to let you know kind of a time frame of what we're looking at. We're here to assist, but a large part is for them to actually be wanting to take those actions. So it's honestly a case-by-case basis.
So it can take months or maybe a year or
Yeah,
maybe
definitely.
longer, but it's a goal.
It is a
It's
goal,
setting
correct.
a
Yeah.
goal and making a plan.
Correct. That's what we're here for.
Okay, and you talked a bit about some new things on the horizon. I remember years back, NHS used to build new homes and then people bought them, but I haven't heard much about that lately. Is that coming back?
We're in the conversations right now with a particular funder to try to see if we can bring some of that kind of work back again. I know that they talk about the building in Sextonville in that area. Again, I believe it was a mutual self-help building project. It's one of those projects where, because again, we have to look at and think about there's what we can offer right now for people who are lower income, but we also have people who might be considered very low income. The USDA has been very good about taking a look in that area and say, what else can we do in rural areas? The loans, and again, that's part of our conversation. The types of loans that they offer can actually offer loans right now in our current market at 4% interest with a process for repayment of 33 to 38 years, which really helps bring the monthly mortgage level down significantly. So again, it's trying to put that all in place so that we can help people be eligible, get through the application process so that we can look at those types of projects. There's programs that they have for rural workers and what kind of housing can we be offering, which again is a big deal here. A lot of workers are, how should I say this, people are coming in on J1 visas. And a lot of the employers are saying, we need some place to go. We need some place to house people. So this is our opportunity to say, can we do that with that particular organization? Because they are targeting rural communities. Mm-hmm. So it's a natural fit at that point. Again, we always have to look at what's the current construction costs. That's always going to be a factor in what we do to say, how are we to do that particular piece? And we have to think about a broader area. There's what we can do in the city, there's what we can do in the county, there's what we can do in the other counties to say, but that means we have to be able to work with the township leadership and say, are you willing to work with us? Can we get some assistance? Because in some of these cases, we need to think about what's the sewer system like, what's the water well system like, all of those are going to be factors that people are going to want to look at before they buy a home. So can we work in partnership on some of those kinds of things, making sure that the streets that connect to where they are, the roadways that we have, are going to be really attractive to the people who are trying to build. Those are all factors.
Are there other goals, hopes, aspirations for the future, the near future and the further away future?
I was going to say one of them is the community development work that we're doing. We're really just trying to bring people together for that conversation. Last summer, we worked with the NeighborWorks America on a theory of change to say, if you have a place as a community, how do you really bring people together so there's fair and equitable and welcome for everyone in the community? Because we have a growing community of Spanish speakers, sometimes they're not as accepted in some areas as we would like. And so how do we really create that sense of community for all of us as we do this work? And that's meant we've brought in some of the community leaders to really talk about what are some of the needs, what are the things that we have to look at. One member mentioned, she said, people pay cash all the time. That's just their tendency. Paying cash won't give you a credit score. And you have to have a credit score in order to buy a house. So it's things like that to say, how do people typically bank? How do people typically handle their cash within a particular cultural group? And then how can we help them make sure that they actually have that housing?
Oh, that's an important thing to think about, that maybe wouldn't be on top of awareness for a lot.
Not everybody trusts the banking system depending on where they've come from.
And
So that's a big part of it.
Yeah, and like how Kathy mentioned, and hopefully that's something that we can do something here in Richland and surrounding communities, is provide those kind of workshops where we can have, let the community know we're providing this workshop, and we'll touch about different topics, whether it's banking, credit, savings, and that's hopefully something that we can bring to the surrounding communities too.
And the other piece of that, which NeighborWorks really encourages us to look at, is wealth building. It's great that we've helped them have a home for now, but how can we think about that wealth building for longer term? Because without that forward thinking process, people don't always think about what else does it take to maintain a home, to maintain the property, to maintain everything else that has to be done.
Yeah, those are all important considerations. Are there any projects or plans that I may not be aware of that you want people to know about?
Any others about those feel like some of the biggies right now?
Yeah, really, like she said, right now our main focus is really letting people know about us, and then as we get to that point, we want to start, like we mentioned, doing those workshops, really engaging in our community is what we're really focused on right now, and just having people learn about
When
us.
you talk about the workshops,
Yeah.
you bring people in, and then you have some information you provide, and then do they get to ask questions?
Of course, yeah. Of course.
And it may be in person, it may be online, because we
Yeah.
get people who request both of those
Yes.
options.
Okay, that's good to know, yeah.
So if you can't make it in person, definitely provide options for online, and interaction with anybody that attends is more than encouraged, because it's going to get everybody else thinking, have more questions come up. So it's important to have them engage with the conversation and other topics that we're going to have for that night.
Yeah, it's good to know that, because there are people who have work schedules during the night and sleep during the day, and all kinds of different living arrangements. So,
I was just going to say, the other thing that we were pointing to too is we're going to continue listening. I mean, the housing market was hot, it's slowed down, things change. So we're always going to be listening to say, what's the trend? What are people seeing, hearing, experiencing? If they can continue to share that with us, it gives us a chance to say, so then what's the adjustment that we need to do to make sure that we're still serving the community at every step? It's not a one and done, I have a plan, it shall be, because things change and we have to be flexible and nibble with it.
now, what sort of, you talked about your work is mostly with 55 and older.
Yep.
What sort of an age range are clientele? I mean, do you deal with 18, 19 to...
And young families,
Yes.
especially, a mixture of folks who might be looking at purchasing a home in that range. We also look at people who are looking to say, I'm ready to transition out. Again, that's that older population, so that becomes how do we help them do that successfully? They're looking to say, listen, I know that there's some things I need to fix. This younger family who needs that house right now wants to talk to us about that. So it's how can we bring those different generations together to help make that happen?
So it's really quite an age range, yeah? And of course, the children may not be buying the house, but you're certainly helping them.
Yes.
And we just really encourage people that if they've had loans in the past, be sure to talk to your family about it. I'll be honest, there are times where I get phone calls saying, Mom and Dad took out a loan? Because they're now to that point where they need more assistance. And the rest of the family doesn't necessarily realize that. And so it becomes let's talk with each other and think about, what does this mean? How does this transfer over?
So what is the situation with mortgages now? Are you looking at, are they leveling off, going up, going down?
Well, the interest rate has been going up a little bit along the way, so it's higher now than it was at one time. So that has really slowed down the market quite a bit.
And then also something to think about is, as interest rates go up, a lot of times the prices of the homes start to go down to kind of balance out that area.
But it is also interesting because I have folks who have had homes for a while who are like, oh, please. Back in the day when I bought my home, my interest rate was way higher than this.
Yeah, but you
And so
also
it's
pay
that part
like
of it.
very little for the home, so again, you're still
Right.
seeing that.
Yeah, I bought
The
my home
balance.
when it was like, there were 14% loans. I mean, and people are complaining about 6, and I'm kind of laughing, but it's not very nice. So if people want to know more about either becoming a homeowner, about renting an apartment, about rehab and repair, or any of the other things you may be able to help them with, how do they find you?
I'd go to our website as the first place. It's nhsrcwi.org. Or you can give us a call at 608-647-4949.
Okay, and what sort of hours? Of course, the website's open 24/7, but what sort of hours?
Typically, I would say, our workday may be about 8 to 4:30 in that time frame, but people are going to be making adjustments as they go, depending, because we have some people like, I can only talk to you at night.
Yeah.
So, staff may start a little later so they can accommodate and work with folks along the way. We're also working towards a client portal so that some things they could be working on and making sure that they submit through
Oh,
that
yeah.
process so that it wouldn't matter whether the staff are there or not, they can actually get done what they need to get done. So we're always looking to see how can we be more effective and helpful and yet secure in what we do when we work with our clients.
Okay, and so thank you very much for bringing us up to date. Is there any last word you'd like to share with people?
Just, we're glad to be a part of the neighborhood, working with folks, and we like to really look out for some of those opportunities for partnerships.
Yeah.
We recognize what has to be, for example, in some areas, we're working on health projects because you can't have good health without having good housing.
No.
So let's figuring out where are those partnerships, where do they need to be, and reach out.
Okay, well, thank you very much. I think I've learned some things. I hope our audience has, and thanks for talking to us.
Thank you.
All right, come on in. This would be one of our more that we would call, I suppose, an efficiency apartment. Living room, dining area, nice and bright, and wonderful view of the city. I think that the nice tall windows, they're wonderful windows, open and close. We do have a little spot in here that we had thought about putting a smaller refrigerator. I can't see people wanting to get down to do that, so far we have not done that, but that's definitely something we could do if someone requested it. We don't necessarily have room for the full-size refrigerator in here, which is why it's around the corner in the dining area. Our bedroom, again, with great views, nice and bright light, very nice closets. Bathroom with stand-up shower. It is handicap accessible. Turn some lights on for you.
Nothing to step up or step down?
No, it's very nice. We do have the emergency pull in every bathroom area of every unit in case we were to, need some help. This is what we call our efficiency. I believe that this goes for 500 heat, utilities, everything is included. We do have laundry right around the corner on this floor. We have the elevator to get up here. My office is downstairs. I'm here 5 days a week, and I'm always accessible by phone if anyone were to need anything. That's, I'm very easy to get a hold of and I'm here to help. The air conditioning unit, the baseboard heat. Yeah.
We're on what floor?
This is the second floor.
The corner, it looks like.
Yeah, it is.
Yep, because I saw the
Right,
window there.
Right. I just love the brightness of it, and
It's not every day we can get outside, you know, weather doesn't always allow it, but yet we can still see outside. And I just feel like the brightness makes us feel good.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so we have a couple more on the third floor that we'll
Okay.
go up and take a
Good,
look at.
let's go.
This is our third floor. We have our laundry area right here as well. You want to take a look at that. All right. And so this is a little bit bigger unit that we also have ready to go. Ready for showings, will be ready for people to move in within a few days. Living, dining room area. This one has beautiful windows, beautiful views.
And we're on the third floor.
We are on the third floor. A little bit bigger kitchen area here. Definitely room for the full-size fridge.
And a little table,
Yeah,
if
you
you
could
wanted
definitely put a little table here. Again, really bright and just kind of makes you feel good. And this should be ready for move-in easily by the 1st of April.
to. Okay.
Ideally, that would be wonderful. A little bit bigger, got some nice closets, linen closet here. Bedroom is all just freshly painted earlier this week. We can definitely put blinds up. We're just kind of waiting to get personal preference of what kind residents would like. And this one actually has a tub as well as the shower. Again, handicap accessible.
I like the layout that the bedroom, it's like a little house.
It
The
is.
bedroom is away from
Yes,
the living
It
areas
is,
in the
yeah.
kitchen.
I think this is ideal. I just think this is a great place. I believe that the rent on this is $5.25.
Wow.
Utility, you know, heat all included. Again, laundry on this floor. We have garbage that they just take to this floor, and then our caretaker, we have on-site caretaker. He lives here. So, or maintenance, I suppose we call it. So if we have questions, problems, something breaks down, he is right here. We just give him a call, depending on how emergent it is, whether he'll come right away, make an appointment to come the next day. Yeah, and then we have one more unit that I'm gonna show you that is yet even a little bit bigger. It's waiting for painting, and we are getting all new floors in it as well.
Okay.
That's also here on the third floor. This one's a little bit more of a mess right now, but has a ton of great potential. You just can't beat the windows and the view of this living dining room area. It will all be repainted. We're gonna put all new floors in it. We are getting new kitchen countertops. But I do expect this one to be ready in the next 3 or 4 weeks as well.
So you come in and you get to see this view.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, I can imagine once spring hits and we've got some green grass and trees, and I think it's gonna be beautiful. I just think it's an ideal place to live.
It looks like somebody was, had a table here or something.
Yes, yes. Our resident that left here had been here like between 10 and 12 years. So she had been here a long time. So again, we're gonna do a little updating to it with the paint, carpet, and it will be like brand new. This one has the full tub, handicap accessible as well.
I see you're still doing work. you
Yep,
know.
we're doing a little bit of work. I expect that to be done here within the next few days easily, and then our painters will come in. And it will have, excuse our message, we are getting all new countertop for in here as well. Paint, floors, the works. It's gonna be beautiful.
Yes, it will be.
Yes. Really excited to get this one done. I think this is an ideal spot. It's beautiful. We can see, you know, the beautiful buildings, the beautiful hilltops. You sit and watch the traffic go by, take the elevator downstairs and sit on our front porch, walk a block and get coffee. It's really hard to beat.
Watch the sunset, that's
Yes,
west. Yep.
Yes, absolutely, right. Go down to the community room and play bingo with us. We're trying to get some card games going. We have puzzles, adult coloring times, just trying to get a real sense of community within the building. Get people out of their units and visit.
Yep.
So we got a lot of projects that we're starting on, and I'm super excited to get it all going and all positive.
Well, I should come back in, sometime in April.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we'll hopefully have a little bit of an update to our community room by then as well. I'll put a few more tables out. I had some requests for coloring and that kind of stuff for the ladies and gentlemen. So I'll definitely be doing that.
All right.
Thank you.
Well, thanks, Andrea.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you. Appreciate it. I'm gonna hit some lights.
Okay.
Well, thank you for tuning in. We hope you'll come back next week and every week to watch our town.